What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Today we're going to be looking at Armored Core 6 and the PC performance specs that have just recently been released. We'll talk a little bit about a few more things, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section as to some of these new developments overall. So for many of you who may or may not know, it is reported, and it is actually now a published fact, that Armored Core 6 now has the system requirements live. You can find it on the Bandai Namco website. You can also find it on, I think, From Software's Armored Core webpage. And the performance metrics are quite interesting, because it seems this game is going to allow for a lot of really low-end computer builds to be able to come in and enjoy the game. This is a very interesting paradigm for developing your video games. And I think because development studios like From Software, even Tecmo Koei, I think that's how you say it, when they did their 60 FPS locks on PC and people were complaining, I think it's because they've always fathomed that if we're going to do and make our games to, reach a broader audience, we can't necessarily just prioritize a lot of these other shiny things, because the shiny things like ray tracing and all that stuff, I think, is adding more of a development load to developers. I think developers, if they can put those shiny things in there, like ray tracing, performance options, then sure. But at the end of the day, the core gameplay is what's going to be actually the main and most important thing. Jedi Survivor on PC right now is just facing that issue. If they had just gone with the base level development like they did with Jedi Fallen Order, the game would have just come out really smooth, in my opinion. I'm trying to play it right now again. I've revisited it, and it's just a problem. But let's go ahead and look at the system requirements, and we'll talk about a few things with the different console versions. So on PC, you have the i7-4790K. This is an old school, old faithful, CPU, but that's actually pretty cool. Or Core i5-8400 and a Ryzen 7 1800X with you can also go Ryzen 5 2600. These are the minimum system requirements. You need about 12 gigs of RAM, not VRAM, but 12 gigs of RAM. So again, it seems like they're probably trying to tap into the RAM segment, which this is actually a cheap hardware device that, you don't have to sweat bullets anymore to get yourself good amounts of RAM. I remember when I first started, 8 gigs was about all I could get because RAM was just so expensive at the time I was building a PC. But then you look at your GPU usage, you're looking at 4 gigs of VRAM. That is actually pretty cool. I mean, I'm very surprised that with all these video games coming out and hugging a lot of RAM, that you can still develop without eating a lot of VRAM. So tight development, paradigms, using an engine that you've already been used to, making modifications and so on and so forth, in my opinion, is the way that things probably need to continue to go. Yes, make advancements on your engine. And many of you may or may not remember, there was that big, huge conversation when Fextra Life said something around, oh, well, it seemed like the engine was quite dated and maybe they need to upgrade their engine and use a different engine, blah, blah, blah. But again, there's a different side to that. Games that have come out on the Unreal Engine 5 are causing the systems to smoke, or at least they're giving the systems a few challenges. Even Unreal Engine 4 games, once they get really bulky, like Jedi Survivor, like I mentioned, and then even Remnant with Unreal Engine 5, seem to be quite challenging for the consoles to run. So I think we need to kind of just take our time, and everyone needs to understand how to use the systems very well. That's the developer sides, and even those who may be doing PC ports for the developers and so on and so forth. To be able to understand how optimization works, there need to be more documentation in the industry and more experience, so that now knowledge bases can get shared, and then we're going to be getting really, really good ports again show up. The whole hardware explosion has just convoluted the game development process, in my opinion. If you want ray tracing, you can use the same, but keep in mind that the minimum system requirements now require that you have a little bit more VRAM. And so, yes, you're going to be in the RTX version of things. You're no longer going to be in the GTX. So this is pretty much kind of like what it is that they've decided to do. So the ray tracing, in my opinion, is going to be something that they're going to work with to allow. Recommended specs, you're looking at the 7700. That's pretty good. I mean, the K is a very popular one for older builds. I've used the K before. I passed it on to my son, and he's rocking it. It's a very strong 1080 and 1440 CPU, depending on what you're playing. So it's a CPU that's not going to go anywhere. If you try to go look up the old, the 7700 and company, even the 8700, family, it's still quite, pricey. Yes, that's what happens with older parts in case you're trying to quickly replace a CPU that fried. A lot of retailers would do that. You can look at the i5-10400 or the AMD Ryzen 7 2700 or the Ryzen 5 3600. If you notice, there seems to be like a little step up in the different, families, from the 4790 to the 7700. I think somewhere the 6700 family with the i7s Were there even 60 something hundreds? The Skylake, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I went through that family of CPUs. But you can get, your DirectX 12 features, which DirectX 12, oof, I mean, I hope they can kind of get it working. Saying now that all of this is being established, they also pointed out a lot of what it is that the different console versions are going to be running. There's some discrepancy here. It's very interesting to see overall, but we'll take a look at it. So max resolution, if you look at the PS4, you're looking at 1080 with 30 FPS up to. So there's room for some frame drops over here. PS4 Pro, you are seeing that you have at least 3200 in terms of the scaling at by 1800 up to, and then you're also going to see up to 30 FPS in regard to the way that it's actually going to be done. HDR support is not available for the PS4 Pro or PS5, but it is available for the PS4. Okay, I guess we're going to see how that works. HDR is not really a big, I can't even stand it. When I turn on HDR on some of the games I play, I'm like, ugh, that looks weird. Xbox One and the Xbox Series X have 16:9. Sorry, Xbox One S has a 16:9. Xbox One X has 4K 30 and also 30 as well. Series X has something along the lines of, it's weird. I'll explain. Series S, has 1440 up to 60 FPS, and Series X has 4K up to 60 FPS, and PC basically, goes all the way to 4K 120 FPS. Initially, when they posted it on Twitter, they seem to have made a typo. I think they've gone ahead to correct it because at first, let me see what it says. Xbox Series X 2160 by 60 FPS, and then okay 2160p. Okay, that's what they wrote. I misread it, and I thought that Xbox Series X was doing 2K at 1440. Now, what's really significant about this is From Software's game. This is one of the very first games that they're actually coming out and providing a mode of play that actually surpasses 60 FPS. In the past, when they did a lot of, their video games, they would lock them at 60 FPS unapologetically. They didn't necessarily care about, what anybody else was thinking at that point. They just went with what it is that they wanted to do. And I think this has actually helped them to be able to develop, really solid games, because in today's world where everyone seems to be yelling, I want the best of this, I want these next gen features, I think it's important for developers to actually just tune that out if they need to and actually make a good game. Not saying that this game is a good game, just saying from what it is that we see with, this studio themselves, they haven't really missed anything, in reality. They've been spot on. They've actually done a really good job. If you go ahead and look at, say, a game like Elden Ring, if you go ahead and look at, say, what the work that they did with that game, performance, yes, kind of was challenged at the onset of the game, but in reality, that did not really deter the game from being Game of the Year in any form or fashion. They really did a solid job there. The Sekiro game on PC, I haven't played. I have it on, I got it on Xbox. I think it was on sale on Xbox, and then the next day went on sale on PC, and I was like, dang it, I really wanted to get this game on sale because it's already, it's a 2019 game. So I stopped even playing the Xbox version. I want to get it on PC because I actually do play more on PC, and I want to keep a lot of my games on Steam. And so, I'm probably going to go back to playing that one. I don't know. Sekiro didn't really appeal to me too much. I guess because of the entire fighting style overall. I like combat games, which is weird, but I guess maybe I just didn't have enough patience to, learn it. And I should. I have to. I have to do that. But anyways, I thought I'd go ahead and, point this stuff out and we can talk about this because I think it's actually very interesting overall, to envision what it is that this particular studio is trying to pull off and how they've just been able to, focus on what I think is necessary rather than focus on everything else that everybody is trying to focus on in regard to game development paradigms, because there's just so much noise going on right now, with performance and everybody yelling around, oh, why does my game not have this performance, when in reality, what has always been the most critical part of the conversation has actually been hardware, propagation. Everybody wants to now play on these new hardware devices like, the PlayStation, the 5 and the Series X are claiming all of these different performance metrics. But the only way you can see those performance metrics is if the developers actually build with those metrics in mind. That's the main thing you're going to see. And From Software is always built with those kinds of metrics in mind, without having to make a game that just overly is going to be giving you too much other than game mechanics. They care about art and they care about mechanics. That's what they really do care about. In regard to that, all of the shinies and all that stuff, you're probably going to have to appreciate the art form and the mechanics within the game, which a lot of their fans are actually keen on. So I guess this is a title to be enjoyed on PC as well too, and even on console, depending on where you're playing. And they've made the game available to as many platforms as possible. So this should really, really help them in terms of sales. I'd love to see this game do very well, which is Armored Core 6. So thanks for watching. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, and I hope you guys really, are looking forward to this. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks once again. Peace out.